Welcome to Warblog. Today I am going to play a game I've played at least once before, and I was looking at a video on YouTube and I thought that looks really good. There we go. It worked as well. Syriat Hill. Now I was watching the gameplay on YouTube, and I've not embedded the video here, but it just looked really interesting. And what's this? There it is there, look. So I was watching this, and I actually watched the whole thing on the other video, and it just sort of looks really good. But you get these sort of strategies developing. So yeah, there you can see I'm dealing with that bit. There I'm talking about the two front lines. So there's the main front line, but there's a secondary one. And I was just watching it and I thought too much detailing the strategy, because I'm going to use the strategy that I had from the previous game. But the strategy to a large extent is this is if I can the difference. The strategy to a large extent is basically it's fairly straightforward, but I'll just go through it generally. Obviously take out that, but also to take out that as two primary objectives. Now the HTS forces, they're slightly different. The first thing to bear in mind is that they've got quite a lot of units over here, so they can come this way and this way or this way, wherever you want to go. They've got some units there as well. But the thing is, this is an ISIS unit. ISIS, 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 and they can't move. They can't do anything. So you can't complicate your HTS strategy with these units, because they are actually non-combatants. That was the mistake I made last time, because I didn't realise fully that that was the case. And what I actually did was I sort of started to try to move them, and then I realised I couldn't, and then so my front line, which would have been sort of, so I moved this maybe this way or that way, and then I tried to move these and I realised I couldn't, so there was obviously 5 units that were no longer part of my strategy in that area. But the thing is, when you know that in advance, you can actually almost use that to your advantage. And also down here, this should be an easy unit to take out, because there's nothing across there, there's only something there. And so the point being in that regard is, if you want to deal with this section, because it'd be quite easy to sort of push the front line down like that, you know, to really push it, because all you need to do is get rid of that and that. And so, just to get rid of all the silly squiggles, you've got to sort of think, well, how can I do that? And well, the first thing is there's quite a lot of units in there, so you can't just attack them like they're one stack and they're not going to move anywhere. You know, they're entrenched, but they're not in a town or anything. So the way I considered doing this is you're going to have to get some artillery on there. And it's quite interesting, really, because essentially you can put a lot of units down in this direction, but you can't do anything. You can't get rid of them. They're actually bulletproof. They're really tough just because they're stacked up. Now, the thing to do is to think about that in advance, because if you can take that unit out, as I've sort of intonated already, if you can take that unit out, essentially you can push your front line instead of being like that, not taking into account the ISIS units, you can automatically then push it like that. So all of a sudden you've got, you know, you can start pushing this way. And similarly with this unit, if you can take that one out, your front line goes like this, and all of a sudden you've got a different sort of you know, battle. And I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference, but I think, you know, considering you, by taking that one unit out, you can compress things in such a way that sort of helps you push this way with everything, as opposed to, you know, having this sort of dog leg front, which, you know, starts off like that, will fall back like that. You know, I mean, you could actually have a line like that, etc. It's not everything, but I just think in the first instance, this dealing with this unit is going to be relevant to the HTS overall strategy, if you want to consider that. But also the overall strategy for HTS, based on the other one, is to hold this for as long as possible, but without too many losses, mainly because you're going to get pushed out. You can't hold it. But what happened last time, they get pushed out and they move back in. It takes a lot of time and effort and possibly some exchanges for the Syrians to actually push them out. And similarly down here, but at the same time, whilst you're doing that, preparing a line that can go either like that or like that, however you want to do it. Remember, you've got a lot of units here to sort of, you know, to do that. And I think there's a lot of playability in this game, which is why I want to play it again. But I'm just going to do something. I've just forgotten. Pause. Okay. So that's probably just half a second of YouTube time, or video time. So I'm just going to do the game. I'm not going to worry too much about explaining the intricate strategies, because I sort of did that in the other video. And I'm hoping that maybe I can get past that stage. But this rocket unit was fairly critical. And what I tried to do, I tried to move him 1, 2, 3, 4, thinking that I could get there, but he got stopped there, because this zone of control has an effect. So basically what I need to do is to somehow push these units out very early. This unit was something I didn't really do anything with. I'm not going to do anything with it this time either. And bring these rockets further forward. Any more rockets somewhere. We've got artillery, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they can't really hit anything, but we should be able to hit this. The difference between this and the other game was that basically the artillery can now no longer move and fire, which it could before. But I think we can try and knock these guys out. Let's just do everything on that. I'm just playing quickly without really trying to sort of balance things up in my own mind's eye or anything like that. So 0, 0. Okay, so we've done some attacks against that, 0.5 and 2.15, so not brilliant, but not too bad. We want to knock it out. They're in hills or something, aren't they? Okay, what about him? He's also in hills and a town. Well, okay, and that's all armour. Let's use our air power on here. Point 2. Okay. I'm tempted to go for him first. Huh. 6 to 1 and a 12. So obviously it takes quite a lot of effort to get into those hills. And they've moved to there. Let's see if we can just punch these guys out, because now they're not in the hills and not entrenched or anything, they're quite weak. 4 to 1 in exchange. It's not really what I wanted. It's going to be tight. 1 to 1. It's more than tight. So I've done worse in this game than I did in the other one. Right, so we push them back. Definitely not doing very well. We should win this battle. I was hoping to destroy that unit. Right. Now I'm going to leave these two units to face off the ISIS units, just as a role play on there. But I'm going to bring these units in this direction. Okay, so pushed him back. What I learnt from the other game. I think I want to control these hills as early as possible, because if he moves some of these units into there, they're a bit hard to get out. And they're going to stay there, so that's it. And I've pretty much not done what I hoped I might be able to do. Although, to be quite honest, I could do something over here. Just wondering, really. I could wreak havoc in this area. Now, he's pretty tough, but he's fairly weak. That could be a 3-to-1. We can knock this guy out. So as long as they're stacked together, they're pretty tough. So I'm messed up over here, really. Okay, so moving swiftly onwards. I'm not making great time at all, really. Quite honest. So that was the thing that I wanted to point out, was that when I was watching the video, what became quite apparent in my mind's eye was if you were playing against another person, I think lots and lots of these games are good for two people, but I don't think this one is especially good for two people. But I'm sort of thinking, well, you know what? This is one of those games I think you could possibly play it two people multiple times, because a lot depends on the early stages to some extent, and more in particular, a lot depends on the sort of the overall development of the game, to the extent you can't really say who's going to win. Now, that doesn't mean it's a balanced game. It means I haven't really got that far to know, because I feel that the HTS have a fairly strong hand, and the Syrians have to play well to win. And I think that balance makes it something else. But the point I'm trying to get to is if you were playing against another person, you might what you'd be doing, and this is how I play games with other people, you're watching what they're doing, but all the time you're focusing on what you're going to do. So, for example, if you were the HTS player, you'd be looking at every one of these moves, and you'd sort of think, here, you wouldn't be thinking the balance of things, you'd be thinking, he didn't get that hex. He only pushed this hex out. That's unusual for this stage of game. You might have thought that he would do that. And all of a sudden you're thinking, well, how am I going to play this? You might be sort of thinking, well, hang on, he's done this peculiar move here. He didn't do that before. You might be sort of thinking, well, how are these hills doing? How's it going on down here? But you're always sort of thinking about what the other person is doing. So when you come to play your turn, you've already developed an idea of what you're going to do. Whereas here, I'm actually, I haven't even considered what I'm going to do yet. because I've been playing the Syrian player up to about a few moments ago. So whereas if you're playing with another person, the HGS player would be thinking about their move all through that time. Now, the first thing to maybe just get to, well, I am going to try and preserve the rockets, but do we have any rockets anywhere in this area? There. These rockets are going to come across this way. They might be able to get there this turn. And are there any other rockets? No. That's them, but that would be pushing in. With 4 more units and these guys down. Can we get these rockets in there? No. But we can do an attrition. One to one. That's interesting odds. So that's an ISIS unit, so you can't do anything. So we're getting those hills. Okay, let's see how this works out. Probably a 1-to-1, but maybe a 2-to-1. And an exchange. Sarkop's quite interesting actually, because I sort of recall where it is. I think it's the M5 highway. So this was quite a long time ago. Okay. Now over here I can probably attack that unit. Can probably attack. Not much over here. But do that. Protect that unit. But let's also attack this unit. Okay. So we damaged the armour. That was a mistake. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to pull the rockets back. Damn. Just really forgot. It was a big mistake. I'm playing a bit too fast and I'm not really making that much ground. Okay, I'm not going to do any more. I'm just going to end the turn. Right, so the Syrians have failed to make any ground there, and not too bad. They've gained a few of the hills here, but it's contested. What are they going to do? Well, that's a dangerous situation because they could get surrounded. Now they've damaged that unit, so let's attack it again. Probably don't need both of them doing this. See, that's why we can't do what we did there. We need to hold that line. So the HCS are dangerous. Okay. Well, there's one thing we can do here. Let's put the armour here and attack these rockets. They made a mistake. We're going to make them pay for it. Now I should get big odds against that because I think I've redone the code. So he should be defending at something like 0.2. Yep, 0.2. So we've got 7 to 1. And I pushed him back. And oh look. Crazy. They can't afford to lose rockets. Okay, let's move our artillery nearer. And let's put something in there to defend. Because otherwise these guys will get straight in there. Hang on. Let's put our air power on that. Two to one. Not brilliant odds, but we won. We can't get in there. No, yes, we can. Let's just use everything there. I think one thing that's worth bearing in mind is that this game is not designed for the purpose that I'm using it for. I'll just explain but come back to that same battle. The only things we've got to do is take that and that, which is what we're about to achieve. We're playing it actually with the full scope of basically annihilation of either side. Get an extra 10% on that. Okay. Okay, well, I was thinking, what should I do with these? And I was thinking basically pounding up along this line here, but there could be some scope for hitting these units. Yeah, I'm going to use everything, including him. Got one. And two more. Interesting. Do I move into there and attack that? I think not. But what I will do, oh, mess up, because I've got an awkward angle on the mouse, you see. I'm just resting it on a book. Okay. I'm not going to do anything over here. These are holding up the ISIS units, so that's everything moved. I'm going to leave that as it is, and leave all that as it is. Haven't made any better ground or done worse really, so what can the HGS now do? Well, one thing they can do is this. Hang on, one thing first. Rocket attack. It all adds up. That's how you win those sorts of battles. That was a 1-to-1. Giving us now the whole front. So instead of being caught up with, like, a regiment of units, we can now slide them. All of these into the flank of that, as opposed to being caught up in there. What I might do is finish this turn and then play another round, another time. Because I really enjoy this game. What I do wish I had more time to actually play either side, with more deliberation. I mean, this is crazy really, because there's so much going to come over against this stuff. But we've got 4 units here. Well, that was unfortunate. Interesting. Oh, got him. So a second surround. That was quite surreal, really, because if you look at it now, the front has been totally changed, almost directly down like that. I mean, they can even start moving some of these units, can't they? Let's move these rockets back. .8. That was unreal. It's all a bit odd, isn't it? Destroyed an armoured unit. This game is quite surreal, really. should be tight, but worth it. Keeping an eye on time here. It's a gamble. Oh. Okay. Last battle. Okay, so messed up a bit there, but eliminating all those units there and down here was good. And here. I'm going to try and get another round of this game, but obviously not that soon, not within a few days really. But I really want to get past this sort of, because I don't feel I've made much more ground, and there's so much scope going on here. We're really interested to see how whether the Syrians can even win. And then I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.